Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 5, and this is going to be my review for episode 20 for this season, the third last episode for The Flash Season 5, otherwise entitled Gone Rogue. But of course, before we get into the rest of the video, spoiler alert, because talking spoilers, really not much happened this episode. It's a bit disappointing, to be completely honest, with this episode, but yeah, if you haven't watched it, go watch it, then come back to this later on. But if you did watch the episode, let me know your various opinions down there in the comments. What did you think of it? What was your favourite part? What parts didn't you like? Just leave your overall thoughts down there in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you're going to enjoy the video, drop a like on it. So last episode was obviously the big Killer Frost episode where we saw Thomas Snow come back as Icicle. He died, sacrificing himself to save Caitlin from Cicada's dagger. And then on the side, like the subplot of the episode, or the side story for the episode, we had Nora in the future dealing with Earbud Thorn, him teaching her about the negative speed force, and then eventually Iris triggering, the final part, I guess, of Nora just completely adopting the negative speed force, and we see her run back in time, just, embracing, I guess you could say, those negative memories, and then tapping into the negative speed force completely, and yeah. Now to start off the episode, we see Nora planning something out, but she needs some help, but she can't get that help from Team Flash. It needs to be from another source. The building she goes to was, I think it was G. Simone and Associates. Obviously, G. Simone is a little reference to Gail Simone, the comic book writer, who I think she's mainly in this episode because Ragdoll's in the episode, and she had a part to play with the character of Ragdoll in the past. Has written Flash recently, like one of those big, I think the Walmart is the store that has the kid comics, like big comic jumbo things they do for kids, and she wrote one of them. That was a Flash one. So there's your little comic writer reference for the episode. But we do see Team Flash trying to scan the city for signs of the Speed Force, because they just assume, because of what happened last episode, that Nora's just going to appear back in present day, and then whenever she taps into the Speed Force, they'll be able to read it, but they can't get that. Nothing's happening there, and that's when they actually go to the crime scene or the crime scene, or the scene, or whatever, the break-in, I guess, at that company, and they find, or Cisco finds, there's negative tachyons in there, so they're like, oh crap, what's happening here? Something's going on. And essentially that, the negative speed force is feeding off the speed force like a parasite or like a cancer and stuff like that. Now, just on the negative speed force, I was super disappointed. Unless we handle it next episode, that might happen. But in regards to this episode, and we were talking about it before this episode came out in previous videos, I thought they would dive into the negative speed force and really show us how it affects someone. But with Nora, it was done in such a minor way. I think that's probably the most disappointing thing I take away from this episode was the handling of the negative speed force, and just trying to give some sort of focus on it, because I think it would have been cooler than whatever happened in the rest of this episode, but we didn't get it, so I guess we just have to move on. But of course, as I said, Nora needs a bit of help with her plan, and she can't use Team Flash, so she recruits some rogues. So we have Brie Larvin, aka the Bug-Eyed Bandit, aka Queen Bee, Weather Witch comes in, and also Ragdoll, as I mentioned before. But there's one rule here, no killing. There's no killing on this rogues team, so yeah. But we do get to see the first little team up with Nora and Ragdoll as they go into Star Labs. We get a bit of a jump scare scene when Ragdoll goes huh, or something like that in the elevator, which I thought was interesting. We have a Barry and Nora scene, which I thought was pretty cool. The whole, when she just sort of goes red-eyed and stuff, and Barry sort of freaks out. I thought that was interesting. She was getting Spencer Young, or Spin's little phone to use, which we later see Brie Larvin use, so strapped on her wrist, and she uses it to sort of control the bees and use them as little spin phones, I guess you could say. So that was pretty cool. And also Ragdoll takes Cisco and Sherlock. However, the original plan was just to take Cisco. However, Sherlock was in the elevator with Cisco, so yeah, and it was pretty I thought we were going to get a really disgusting moment when they said there was a break-in through the sewerage. I thought, oh god, he's going to come out with crap all over him or something, just disgusting. But he didn't. So maybe just they wanted to keep it nice and clean and friendly, I guess, for the viewing audience of The Flash. Now, I did really like Cisco's little conversation here with the rogues, just Cisco being a smartest essentially. And we did see Nora basically do the whole phasing hand thing with towards Cisco, which you could see is a bit too far in some cases. Like, why is she threatening Cicada's life? But I see it as an empty threat. I'm pretty sure we've all given empty threats before in our lives. Like, I'm going to smash your head in if you don't give me that last biscuit. You know, I'm pretty sure that's happened. Or, don't touch my car, otherwise you're going to cut your hand off. Empty threat. You're actually not going to cut that person's hand off if they touch your car or touch something you don't want them to touch. You know, it's just an empty threat. And I'm pretty sure that's what Nora was doing there. Now, we did go to, like, Thomas Snow's sort of lab in the Arctic, or Caitlin and Ralph go there, and we find out that Cicada is actually broken in, and she's taken some coma treatment stuff, obviously to deal with her younger self, but she also took some of Cisco's like prototypes for his Medicure. Now, the issue with this is that those prototypes are prototypes, they're not the finished product. So what's going to happen there is that they can actually be used to kill metas. If a meta took it, they're probably going to die or become extremely, extremely sick and not be, or they could be cured, but they just become extremely sick afterwards. So the prototypes are not the finished thing, so they're actually extremely dangerous. Now, once again, similar to last episode, but also a couple of times this season, I don't know why they keep doing this. The Flash writers, I don't know what they're doing. And let me preface this by saying, this is not an attack on Iris. Because last time I mentioned this, people went, oh my god, you always pick on Iris. No, it's just for some reason she always gets the shit end of the stick. Sorry for swearing, but she does. So in this episode, we have Iris essentially defending Thorn. What? Now, at the end of the episode, what Nora's doing is good, but you're not defending Nora in that situation. You're defending Thorn. Like, Thorn has some, like, plan that's for the good of the world. It's like, no, he's just defeating Cicada's dagger because it probably helps him in some way, shape, or form. That conversation, once again, it can't support Iris in that conversation. I hate when the show does this, because if they spread it amongst characters, you know, it's a crappy tactic, but you can accept it. You can accept it. But they always give it to Iris, and I don't know why they do that. I don't know if it's just because she is the female lead. It's like, okay, well, she gets more screen time if we do this, so we don't have to give her some other stuff. So that, like, sort of makes the quota, I guess you could say, for the episode for her lines and screen time and stuff. If that's the case, then it still doesn't make sense, but okay. But it's always Iris. Iris is always the one that has these conversations where you can't back her. The Sherlock stuff this season, what was it, last episode or 2 episodes ago, and then this episode as well. Why do they keep doing it? Hopefully that gets fixed up. Like, it really doesn't, it now makes complete sense why, like, Candace Patton, who plays Iris, just doesn't talk about the show, you know, or promote it, because she obviously doesn't like the material she's given. But yeah, I don't know, it's super confusing. But we did get, like, a Jenny Ognatz Easter egg. I think it was, like, on a name tag or something. So Jenny Ognatz is actually XS from the comics. She is Barry and Iris' granddaughter from the comics, and she is the one that's part of the Legion of Superheroes. So yeah, they basically made up the character of Nora West Allen and gave her basically, I guess, Bart Allen's storyline, but also Jenny Ognatz. So she's an amalgamation of a couple of characters, and they've, you know, they finally referenced Jenny Ognatz. Now, there was a similar scene with Joe, like the Iris one. There was one with Joe as well in this episode where he's like, no, this isn't, you know, quoting completely, but to paraphrase, he's like, oh, trust Thorn because Nora does. I'm like, what? Trust a homicidal maniac because Nora, a person who we know to be easily manipulated and obviously not to think things through that well, trusts him. What? 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 No. Joe, what are you talking about? Joe, you're smarter than this. Don't be an idiot, Joe. Bring it back a bit. You know, that was silly. That was extremely stupid. I can't believe he said that, but let's move on because I'm getting a migraine thinking about that scene again. Now, we did see Nora betrayed by Brie Larson and Weather Witch, which I guess shouldn't be seen as too surprising, but I wasn't really expecting it. But, you know, I just thought Nora would just finish the plan, but I guess it happened. I guess if you deal with evil people, they're going to do evil stuff to you, and if they don't trust you, or they don't see you as evil as they are, they're probably going to go, hey, well, you're probably a hero, so let's betray you anyway. So that happened, I guess. That culmination and just ending of that storyline I thought was a bit lame, to be completely honest. I did really like when Sherlock impersonated Barry. At first I thought it was Ralph, but it's like, there's a meta dampener there, and then Ralph's also with Caitlin at the thing, so I was sort of confused whether it was Ralph or not, because you're sort of acting like Ralph, but then we find out it's actually Sherlock, and I thought that was just pretty funny, like that whole thing. Even when Weather Witch goes like, hold on, is he drunk? Like, I thought that was hilarious. But we find out that Nora was actually following Eobard's plan, and once again, this doesn't negate anything that Ira said or that Joe said, because we don't know what Thorn is completely planning. He might need the dagger to be destroyed for him to do something, which it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if that is actually what happens. But essentially, this device can, like, reduce stuff to ashes or something like that. It can just destroy any material or something like that. It's some science mumbo-jumbo, so no point jumping too deep into it. But it's going to be used to destroy Cicada's dagger. It'll be interesting to see when it's used, whether it's next episode or the episode after. But they now have it. But speaking of Cicada, we do end the episode off by seeing her prepping that atomizer that she stole from Icicle from last episode. And then also you could see some of the Medicure sitting on the desk there as well. So she's prepping that atomizer to release that prototypical, I guess is the word, Medicure, which essentially is a virus, amongst the metahumans in Central City. So it's going to be some pretty crazy stuff happening. I'm pretty sure all the metas in Central City are going to be freaking out once they get the word that that's happening. Or if they get the word. You'd think they would. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. But overall, I thought this episode was just okay. Honestly, I'm disappointed because I thought we were going to get some negative Speed Force action, and I'm actually diving deeper into that whole thing and that realm and just that thing in like the Flash lore. But they didn't. So I was sort of disappointed by that. Like, Nora's back being, oh, I'm back with the family. It's like, what was the point of that, like, epic scene from the last episode when really they didn't do too much with it this episode? I don't know, I just felt a bit disappointed. I didn't hate the episode. I thought it was still okay. There was still some bright spots in the episode. I just thought it was, Like, I won't rewatch it. I might eventually if I rewatch this season later on, but I'm not going to be rewatching it this week, which with most episodes I would, just to make sure I didn't miss out anything going forward. So, yeah, this episode happened. Yeah. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you did, or my video, if you did. Sorry if it was a bit negative at parts, just that I have to be honest. But if you enjoyed my video, and I guess whatever, you want to leave a like on it, be awesome. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this episode. What did you like? What did you hate? Anything like that, or anything in between, let me know down there in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.